Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, it's an overcast day and it is really chilly out here. I am sunburned and my skin feels on fire. I got my hat. I've got to find my hat, guys. I have misplaced it and I got to find it to get the sun off my face and my shoulders and got to do something about my arms. And I know I should wear sunscreen. I got to find something that doesn't make me feel like I'm just smothering, because I have really, really fair skin and I have to wear a high SPF and it just makes me feel, well, but I know I need to wear something. I need to take care of my skin, and you can tell that I'm flushed and sunburned. So anyway, from doing garden work and yard work over the past weekend, I am sunburned from that. But it's been really, really chilly the last couple of days. We went from really nice weather to really chilly weather. It's in the 50s today. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer tomorrow on Thursday, but this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, is supposed to be in the 80s. We're excited about that because we've had lots of Easter weekends, Easter Sundays that have been cold and rainy and nasty. And right now, so far, it's supposed to be 82 here on Sunday. And our church is having a big fellowship dinner, and we're excited about that. And I got some planting to do. I've got some little, just real simple little Easter arrangements to make for the fellowship hall tables. I got little Johnny jump ups, and I'm going to put them in these little tiny, just little bitty, about this big, pots, put a couple, 2 or 3 on each table. And I think it'll just be just a really sweet little simple decoration, and something for spring. I would put some lilacs and different things, but mine are just now beginning to do something, so I don't really have anything to cut and make arrangements like that. So I did have to get some Johnny jump ups. So I'm looking forward to making those little sweet little arrangements for the tables, and then they can take them home after it's done. Different ones want them, they can take them home with them. But anyway, we're working on that. We've got some preparations to do for the church Easter dinner. Got some cooking and some baking to do for that. And we've got, I had to batch some jellies for our new jelly business that we have. And we will be making an announcement about our new website that we have where we're selling our products from, and getting some things, the ball rolling on that stuff, and we're excited about that. It's really unbelievable to me. It's humbling to me to think that someone would want something that I made, and that Cheyenne made. It's just humbling to me, really. And so we'll be sharing more about that on the next video or so. But today I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with you. The boys are up from their nap, and so things are going to get a little bit crazy. So slipped out here to the truck to talk with you. It's warm in here. It's too chilly and a little bit breezy to sit outside. And so, especially with the sunburn. So I thought I would get in here and spend a little bit of time talking to you. And I was thinking about everyone's gardens. Some of you have mentioned that you still have snow on the ground where you are, and so that you haven't even started your gardening process yet. A lot of other people are already in their gardens. We've been in our garden. We've got some stuff planted. Those south of us, I know for sure that you do. And so I was thinking about our gardens, and we've been planting some of our things that we're getting ready for our future. We've been setting out some of our orchard items, elderberry and raspberry, grapes, blackberries, and we've been, setting off our rows. And Blade, he ran strings and put up his T-post and did all the different things. And, then it comes to the process of digging the hose and putting things in. And he was making comment about how he felt like some of his stuff wasn't straight. And it just come to my mind about setting your hand to the plow. You know, when in the Bible, when Jesus, some folks were telling him that they would follow him, and they had some reasons. They said, we'll follow you, but we have to do this, you know. And Jesus' comment back to them was, you know, if you set your hand to the plow and you look back, this is me paraphrasing this, you know, that you're not fit for the kingdom of heaven. And so I was thinking about all of that. And I thought we might spend a little bit of time today talking about setting our hand to the plow, and how taking your eyes off the goal allows you, or makes you, or causes you, whichever way you want to look at, causes you to see obstacles. Now, one of my little nieces, Stormy, she's an adult now, but when she was a little girl, she spent a lot of time with us, and we would take her and Blade, and we would go to Silver Dollar City. When we lived in Arkansas, we didn't take very long to get over there to Branson and go to Silver Dollar City, and the kids liked that, and we always had fun with it. And they like to ride the rides, Blade especially. Stormy liked to ride the calm stuff, the little slow moving fun stuff. She didn't like roller coasters, and she didn't like any of that kind of stuff. And she especially didn't like heights. And all the time she would try to ride the things that Blade rode, or climb the things that Blade climbed. And there would be issues just about every time. And so, this particular time we were at Silver Dollar City, and they have this activity for kids that's the tree houses, and they have these trees, and they have a swinging bridge between them, and they climb up one side and go across the bridge, and they go down the other side over and over and over again. And they were they were excited to do that. And so we let them. We stood on the ground because it's made for kids, and so obviously the grown-ups can't go up there. And so Blade, he was up and zooming across and back down over and over again. The whole time we were waiting for Stormy to climb up, and she comes out on the bridge, and she gets about halfway across the bridge, and she looks around, and she sees bird's eye view of Silver Dollar City, and realizes that she's in a predicament that she doesn't want to be in, and she goes down on all fours, and she will not move. She's paralyzed, so to speak. She's frozen, and no matter how much coaxing we were doing from the ground, saying, it's okay, you'll be all right, just hurry across, hurry, and it'll be over with. No matter how much of that we did, she was not moving. And so we had to send Blade up to try to coax her, and he was yanking on her shirt, trying to get her to come on. And finally, he got her all the way across. And it was not fun for her. And the reason it wasn't fun is because, like I said, she took her eye off of the goal, which was to get across the swinging bridge into the treehouse and back down again. She took her eyes off of that, and she could see the obstacle, which was her fear. Another time we had her in a Christmas play. I'd written a play for the kids at church, and we'd done all the costumes, and we had everybody set, and there had been play practice. And we had a previous event at our church that lasted for several days, that we had large groups of people come through, and Stormy had played a part in that, not a speaking part, but she was just there as one of the persons in heaven, one of the little angels or whatever, and she did just fine with that. And so I thought, well, in the Christmas play, I'll make her a little angel. She can wear her same costume that she had. And but it didn't work that time. We practiced lots of times with the kids from November till December when the play happened, and she got used to the other kids being on stage and the adults that were in the play with her. She got used to all that. But the night of the play, when she realized that there were adults in the audience, parents, grandparents, whoever was there, she froze. That fear of Whoops, now I look around and I see these people out here and they're watching me, and she had this fear of the crowd when the attention was set on her. Then all of a sudden, the only thing that she knew to do, she went flat out on the floor of the stage and did not move. The entire play took place with her laying on the floor. All the different players had to go around her, and she just laid there flat out on the floor, not moving. And another time that she took her eye off the goal, which was to get through the play, to deliver her lines and sing the Christmas carols and all of that stuff. She took her eyes off of that, and she saw her fear. And the rest is history, so to speak. But we do that a lot. We set goals in this life, work goals, family goals, garden goals, church goals, whatever it happens to be, goals with our children. And we take our eyes off of that and we start asking, what if? What if this? What if this happens? What if that happens? Oh no, what if? And then before we know it, the fear, the obstacle becomes so great to us that we can't meet our goal. We set our hands to the plow and we begin to move forward, but then we see those things and we get off track. When Howie was young, they always grew a garden. In fact, the garden that I still have to this day is the garden that his family used when he was young. And he grew a garden this particular year. And I believe he told me it was potatoes. I think it was potatoes. And anyway, he grew them, planted, marked off his rows, plowed them, put the taters in, covered them up, they started to grow. And his grandpa, who just lived around the corner, drove by on that particular day when Howie was out in the garden, and he stopped and they were enjoying a conversation that they were having. And he said, who laid off that row? Who planted them? And Howie said, Grandpa, I planted those. And his comment back to him was something along the lines, well, I knew if it wasn't one of my kids, because they knew better. Now, the crop, the potatoes, they were just fine. But the row was off. The harvesting was a little bit harder because he was zigzaggy with his rows. In life, so you may ask, well, what does that have to do with life? Zigzaggy rows and messed up rows because you took your eyes off of it. Well, sometimes when we do that in life, we are inconsistent. And inconsistency sometimes causes problems with ourselves and with those that depend on us. When we're not consistent with what we do, we don't stick with what we're planning and what our goals are. We're here, there, and everywhere because we're taking our eyes off the goal. We really want to do this thing. We really want to accomplish that. But wait a minute, what about this? Maybe I should do this. And before you know it, you're totally off the mark. You've missed it because you took your eyes off of the goal. You got so caught up in the things that were going around you that you missed your opportunity. My granny and grandpa grew a garden every year. And besides Howie, they had one of the prettiest gardens that I believe I've ever seen. Of course, I might be just a little bit partial to them. But they grew fantastic gardens. And they were very particular. The very first row of the garden was zinnias that my granny would plant. And then the rest of the garden was all the other things that they loved and that my granny had plans to can. They put up lots and lots of things. Sauces and pickles and just you name it, they put it up. And they had a big garden, and then they would have a big corn patch. And I had this picture from the late 70s, early 80s, when this company came around, and some of you probably will know what I'm talking about. This company came around. They would fly over your place, and they took pictures of all of these different places out in the county. And then they came by after they had a print of your property. They had a print of it, and they would come and they would try to sell the print of your farm, and you could buy a picture you could have it framed, or you could just get the picture. And my grandparents were one of the people that bought their picture. They bought their picture of their farm, and then they had little prints made of it. And my granny had given me one of those prints, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite pictures because it was an aerial view of one of my very favorite places in the world. To this day, one of my very favorite places, even though it's changed so much. Granny and Grandpa went on to be with the Lord, and they built a new house, and my aunt and uncle have lived in it over 20 years. But irregardless, this picture showed Granny and Grandpa's place, what it looked like when I was little, and it had the outbuildings, and it had the house, and you could see all the barns and the vehicles they drove, and it was just really neat to see it. But what really stuck out in my mind was this big cornfield and their garden space, which was big, and everything from a bird's eye view. It just looked pretty and straight and perfect. And I'm not saying it was perfect when I got down when you got down to eye level, but I would almost bet it was near perfect as it could be, because my grandpa was like what Howie's grandpa was, and they marked rows off, and you stayed on that row with that string line, and you planted those things, and you were as precise as you could be. And the reason for that was because it was important to them to grow as much food as they could grow and put up for their families. Remember, those of you that have been around a long time, you remember what it was like. It was hard. It's like it is for a lot of people today. Back in the 70s and the early 80s, and even earlier than that, my granny and grandpa was born in the 20s, 25 and 26. And growing up, there were several different challenges. The Depression and World War II, and all of the different things that came along. They learned to put things up, and they learned how important it was to stay true to the goal of, we got to plant this, we got to plant this amount, we've got to make sure that we've got it all marked off, because we have plans for this. We're going to put this much stuff up to feed our family. It was important. It was a lifeline for them. And today, when we grow gardens, still to this day, we should look at it. This is a lifeline for us. We're making plans. We're putting up this much green beans and these many tomatoes and this, and these onions and these potatoes and whatever it is that you happen to grow. And so that's why putting their hand to the plow and in the garden, in the natural, in themselves, they worked hard, and they set these goals, and they did all that they could in all seriousness when they were out there plowing. You can't plow and then do all of the things that you have to do with a big cornfield and not keep on track and keep straight. Here in Gore, they have big cornfields, commercial cornfields, and they start this time of year doing all kinds of stuff, preparing those fields, getting there. In fact, I saw that some of the big farmers here have got their corn in the last weekend or so. And I guarantee it, when it comes up in a few weeks and it gets taller and taller throughout this summer, those rows are just laid off just so perfect. And I know they're using machinery and all of that, but I tell you what, if they have one of those farmers out there and he had his hands on the plow, so to speak, although they're using bigger machinery now, they had their hands on that, and they were, what in the world do you think their rows would look like? They would be all messed up and crazy and contrary to the goal that they set. Sometimes we can put our hands to the plow to move forward, and we get all wonky with everything, with our thinking and with our feelings and all of those things. And it tears up ground that we weren't intended to tear up, because we get off track, and we begin to follow our stinking thinking and our resentments and maybe things that we're feeling, and we tear things up, and even can tear up ourselves by plowing in fields that we don't belong in, or in rows that we don't belong in. Having that goal set, having our eyes set on where we want to go in life and the things that we want to achieve in our families, in our heart, in our spirit, in our Christian walk, all those things, when we've got our minds made up and our minds set that this is what it is, this is the plan, this is what we want to do. If we allow those distractions, allow those obstacles to get in the way, why, we can do a lot of damage, and we can get off track. And when you get off track, that's when things go crazy quickly. We hurt others, and we can hurt ourselves, and we can mess up. This is a challenging year, and I know that you hear different things about how things are getting better, and I look around me and I see so many people being challenged, so many people that are having a hard time making ends meet, that it makes me believe that a lot of the things that we're hearing, it's just not happening in these areas. And I'll tell you, not just us, but our other locations in our little community. And I know I have told you this over and over. Our blessing box, our little pantries, they're staying empty. We put stuff in and people are clearing it out. And it makes me know that there are people that are in need. And we can't be deterred. We can't take our eyes off of what we know to do and look to these other things and keep ourselves from making preparation and doing what we can to help ourselves, to help our families, to help those around us. One of those things that one of the best things that we can do is to put our hand to the plow. Putting your hand to the plow means I'm getting started. I'm ready to start. And then move forward. Set your goal. Know where your goal is at. You know, when you start to plow, when you start to drive a tractor. Now, on my tractor lessons that I have been given, still working on that, by the way. On my tractor lessons, Blade will say, see that? Whatever it happens to be. Aim for that. And he's trying to teach me to, drive towards that thing. Drive that tractor. Keep your eye on that. And, if you brush hog a field or whatever it is that you happen to be doing, you don't want to go all willy-nilly everywhere. Keep to that path. Keep to that pattern. Keep on track. That's really what we're wanting to do, right? Keep on track. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to meet our goals. It's important that our goals are met. It's important that we're providing well, looking well to the ways of our household, that we're moving forward, and that we're not easily distracted by the obstacles that pop up on every side. Fear, like for little Stormy, questioning, worrying about all of the things that we cannot change. We all know that we hear news reports every day and we think, now what? And we simply cannot change all those things. Some of these things that are coming down the pike, we wring our hands and we worry and we set by. We can't set by, guys. We have to work, be at work. And so I challenge you. In the natural, I challenge you to do something. Set a goal. It's one of our goals. canning and dehydrating and putting food up any way that we can. Every week, try to do something. We're doing other things to make ourselves become more self-sufficient. There are things that we just absolutely won't be able to provide for ourselves. But if there's more and more things that we can do, and less that we have to buy, then wow, that's an improvement. And so we're working our best for that. And you can do that too. Setting your goals, stepping up to the plate, getting a hold of the plow, getting ready to start, and step out. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the mark down there. Don't let your tractor go willy-nilly. Keep on track. Don't allow yourself to be distracted. Don't allow yourself to be discouraged. It can be a discouragement if we listen to all of the things that are happening all around us. Don't allow yourself to be discouraged. Know that Jesus loves you. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. Keep looking well to the ways of your household. And until next time, we're gone.